Hey, this is Saidan, coach of the Sydney Six, bringing you the Week 6 Team Builder for our run of the WWA. Uh, our opponent this week is the Fusion Fishious, who is coached by Nougat Boy. Um, Now, in the last 2 weeks, obviously, there was no battle. Unfortunately, I had scheduling issues with my opponents. Um, and it did result in a win, on my favor each time. So I am 4 wins, 1 loss in this league so far, which has put me in a pretty good position in this league. Um, Even though I actually haven't, I've probably played the least amount of matches. Uh, but hopefully, with this week we can actually get a match in and get back in the horse of getting battles done. Uh, Now, my opponent is actually has a really good team. Something I'm pretty nervous about. Um, and yeah, so why don't we actually just check out my opponent's team? Okay, so as you can see, he has a lot of great, I want to say, pairs with his team. Um, So the ones that stick out to me is if you see his tier 3, his first tier 3 and his free 2, that's uh Pincurchin and Alolan Raichu with that surge surfer ability. Or Alolan Raichu's speed is doubled, and it pairs well with that electric terrain that gets put up by Pincurchin. On top of like boosting the electrical damage, uh, uh, what's it called? Alolan Persian is obviously the fastest Pokemon on the field. The other pair that's really interesting is if his first tier 2 Alolan Ninetale and his free 3, um, which is Alolan Sandslash. Again with the um, Slush Rush ability from Sandslash, it can be the fastest Pokemon on the field as well, and the Aurora Veil that could be set up by Ninetales is pretty big. The other pair I can really see is Fungus with Durant or with this Gmax Snorlax, so that um, he Fungus can just redirect the moves towards it, protecting is Durant or uh, Gmax Snorlax for 1 turn, I guess. Um, and I mean, 1 turn is probably enough. He could set up with Sword Dance. I think does. I'm thinking if Durant learns Sword Dance. Regardless, I think Durant with the Hustle ability doesn't even need to boost its move. Snorlax can belly drum, which is a major issue. But um, yeah, he can just safely set up and just sweep with um those two. And another pair that I notice is his Lucario in tier 2 and his free 4 Diglett. I'm pretty sure Diglett can learn Beat Up, and Lucario does have the Justified ability, I believe, yes. And so he could just boost his Lucario's attack to +4, and just sweep from there. Lucario's not that slow, but um, the other two, I guess, there's he does have his Runorigas, which is a good trick room setter, pretty reliable one. It has high defense and special defense, and that Wandering Spirit um, could cause a little bit of problems for Pokemons that rely on their abilities. Turtonator, I'm not 100% sure what Turtonator does, but I believe it would be a Trick Room. Pokemon because of its slow speed. Um, it is very defensive and it's just hard to take down. It probably, I don't know whether it can boost its attacks, but yeah. Going into this week and looking at his team, to be honest, I didn't put too much uh thought into my into this match. Oh, no, when I said not too much thought, I put less thought than I would usually. I do have a lot of my attention was on my MBL match for this week, which is the grand final match. And I obviously I really wanted to win that, so I put a lot of attention into that. Now that saying, I didn't. It's not like I put no attention to this. I actually did put quite a bit of thought into this, into my team against the Fusion Fishious. But I will acknowledge there was just a few Pokemons I just outright uh just discard. I didn't bother because I don't think they'll come. And I rather just focus on some Pokemons that I know would come in, and hopefully, if he does bring the Pokemons that I discounted, it would be that I can overwhelm them. So with that, my main threat I see is just his pairs. I just looked at his pairs and see what I can do with them. So when I was so why don't we actually just look at my first Pokemon? And my first Pokemon is Holocha. Now Holocha, I think I went with Mold Breaker and Life Orb. I did consider maybe a Grassy Seed or Weakness Policy because he does have a lot of Pokemon that can do super effective damage to Holocha, but his Pokemon's actually incredibly strong, and Holocha probably isn't going to survive. So I actually have Holocha as like one of my possible leads that can wall break. You can either just break down his team as a lead or be in the back to clean up. So that's kind of the role I had in mind for Holocha. I gave it close combat to deal with just for super effective damage. Brave Bird just so I can also just do some. That's my probably strongest stab, especially when Dynamaxed. Fire Punch I think is important because when dealing with his weather, his hail duo, changing it from hail to preferably sun, it was important. Was important for me, so that's why I opt for Fire Punch, and it's most likely with the Pokemon I'm going like. Holocha is probably a Pokemon I would Dynamax, and the last move is Throat Chop. I think it just deals with the rest of his team the best. Yeah, so it does hit Alolan Raichu for super effective damage, and Runorigus for super effective damage. And hopefully that way he won't get the Trick Room up. Now, obviously, if he pairs it with Fungus, his Runorigus with Fungus, I don't think I have any way of stopping that Trick Room. But I don't think he is actually going to bring Runorigus. Well, I hope he doesn't. But the speed, 188 plus speed, that should outspeed his fastest Pokemon, which is, I believe, Durant. And there's one other that has the same speed as Durant. Ninetales. Yep. So those two should be his fastest Pokemons, and that would just speed creep like them, both of those Pokemons. So the rest went into it. Like I went max attack, and then the rest went into bulk. So a pretty simple build. Yeah, and Life Orb for maximum damage. I did go for 44 EV into HP so that I have the 159 as the final HP stat. That just minimizes the recoil from Life Orb while maximizing the HP. So, yeah. yeah, there's not much to it. For my second Pokemon, I have chosen a weakness policy Gmax Rillaboom. Um, Rillaboom, I think, is just there for as a normal all out attacker. Um, I do believe that he does have a lot of Pokemon that has coverage against. They either super effective or they have good coverage against Rillaboom, like grass types. Um, but I think Rillaboom is mainly there so that I can deal with his Amoonguss. Obviously, his Amoonguss is gonna hold that Rage Powder. It probably has Spore as well, so since Spore and Rage Powder doesn't affect grass types, it'll be great to have my Rillaboom there just to counter that. Now, obviously, I do fear that if he leads with Fungus and Durant, I don't think Rillaboom can deal with that. Um, but hopefully, he doesn't do that. Uh, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do if he does do that. I might have to. I'll probably. Uh, well, I actually have an idea, but obviously it would involve some. Uh, yeah, look, I'm not gonna probably go into details because I don't think I have fully thought it through. But anyway, Grassy Surge just so I can have a way to deal with Pincurchin's electric terrain. Obviously, though, if I lead with if they both get lead, obviously the electric terrain will stay because Pincurchin is slower. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, the Wood Hammer is just my strongest damage. It is super effective against Diglett and Runerigus, but it is in general just the strongest move I have. Acrobatics is super effective for Fungus, and as a way to boost speed, so it allows it to outspeed a lot of his Pokemons. I did go for Brick Break just in case he does get an Aurora Veil up. I have a way of getting rid of that, and with the added benefit of being super effective to his Lucario and Sand Slash. And I think I should have put Gmax Snorlax there because yeah, it is and high horsepower allows me to deal with his electric types because I think obviously Rillaboom is my best answer to his electric terrain Pokemon, so obviously I want something that can hit them super effectively. Yeah, so his otherwise I just went with 188 speed, and I'm trying to think what that was to outspeed. I believe it is to outspeed his Sand Slash. I think Alolan Sand Slash. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's to outspeed Alolan Sand Slash outside of Hail. And then I just went with max attack with Adamant Nature, just to maximize damage, and then the rest went into bulk. Yeah, so a pretty simple build, I think, with Rillaboom. I think that's just to do as much damage as possible to whatever Pokemon that comes about. For my third Pokemon, I'm going with Lycanrock Dusk. And to be honest, I think Lycanrock Dusk and Holocha is actually they achieve the same goal in my team, and they can be used interchangeably. I think I'll most likely have one of them as the lead and the other just as the back. So um they'll basically do the same thing, either break his team as a lead or clean up in the back. So I did go with Expert Belt because it does. Lycanrock does have a lot of coverage moves that super effectively hits my opponent's team. So I have Excel Rock because I think that's Lycanrock's like I kind of want a priority move, and yeah, I thought, and then to be honest, I'm probably most likely going to I could Dynamax Lycanrock and then to get those the sand up, so that's a good way to deal with his hail users, and it is like super effective against Turtonator. I went with Close Combat. Obviously, that's just super effective against Lycanrock. No, sorry, against Lucario and his Snorlax. Crunch for his dark, weak Pokemons. And Fire Fang is another way. If I don't want to set up Sun, so set up Sand, I can set up Sun with Fire Fang. And I think it's also I think it's just my best move against Amoonguss Fungus. So I guess Fungus should have been there, but now I went max speed with Jolly Nature because I need to outspeed his Durant and Ninetales. So unfortunately, I can't. I could try to speed creep, do an aggressive speed creep, in a sense that I don't see them going max speed with his Durant and Ninetales. He might just speed creep Mewstick. So I could try to aggressive speed creep there, but I didn't want to take that risk, so I just went full speed. Then the rest went max attack and just 4 on special defense. I think that I just chose that randomly. I think yeah, maybe I should have went with HP, but doesn't matter. I think 1 point is not gonna matter when doing the calcs. So I think this is probably my simplest set I have with Lycanrock. For my 4th Pokemon, I think this is the Pokemon I put the most thought into, and that is Mewstick Male with Prankster and Focus Sash. Now Mewstick is probably gonna be one of my lead Pokemons, and specifically I have 2 moves, which is Sunny Day, which will if he leads with his hailed pair, I can get instantaneously like half the speed of that Alolan Sandslash, and just stop Aurora Veil from coming up if his Ninetale does go for that. The other is Misty Terrain. That way I can also halve. When I say halve, it's just will return their normal speed of Alolan Raichu, and like lower the damage from Pincurchin and Alolan Raichu. So I also don't want Snorlax to possibly be like a curse rest set, and so obviously I don't want his Snorlax to start resting, so Misty Terrain's a good way to stop that. Besides having Taunt, I did go with Psychic. I think that was just I wanted a damaging move with Meowstick, and it's funny enough it actually does it is super effective against Fungus, which could be useful. And I think I just put in Diglett because it's I rather have Meowstick attack Diglett as opposed to my other Pokemons. I think my other Pokemons would do more damage. Their resources, their damage is better suited on Diglett's partner than Diglett itself. So I have Fake Out just in case I really don't want the Rage Powder to come up on that first turn. So I have the potential to just flinch it for 1 turn, do whatever damage I need on his partner, and then have to deal with Rage Powder after it. But yeah, it could be useful in a pinch, that fake out. To be honest, so 228 is there, so I outspeed his Raichu, I believe, who has fake out. So I like my fake out is faster. The rest just went into HP and defense. For my fifth Pokemon is going to be Incineroar. Incineroar, I think, is just my bulky attacker. There's not much to it. It's funny because he has my opponent has like a large speed gap in his team. So if you go, his team is basically, he's got a pretty fast team, but I think it does go down steadily until it gets to Sand Slash at base 65, and then it just has a huge drop to 35 or 30 with Turtonator, I think. So there's a huge speed gap between it, and Incineroar just slides in really easily in there, so I can really focus on just outspeeding his slower Pokemons and just focusing on bulk when it comes to his faster ones. So Flare Blitz, obviously he has a lot of that deals with his fire weak Pokemons. He actually and Darkest Lariat for his dark weak. Obviously, there's 2 stabs, for damage, for maximum damage. I also went with Drain Punch, so I can do as much damage on Snorlax. Because Snorlax could be thick fat, so obviously Flare Blitz won't do as much damage. And Outrage is there, so that I can at least have something against Turtonator. I do believe I don't really have a lot of answers to Turtonator, so an Outrage. So Incineroar is a answer. I don't know if it's necessarily the best answer, but it's the answer I'm going with. Obviously, like I said, he has a large speed gap, so 84 actually outspeeds his Turtonator. Actually, I don't even know if it does outspeed. It outspeeds probably like a not even a min speed, just maybe a Jolly, or not a Jolly, Modest or Adamant Turtonator. I'm actually not 100% sure anymore. I went with a max attack with Adamant Nature so that I can do as much damage as possible, and the rest just went into bulk. Obviously, with Intimidate and Assault Vest, obviously I'm taking a lot less damage from the defense and special defense anyway, so yeah, I am probably relying on Incineroar to last the match. And my last Pokemon is going to be Jolteon. And I'm gonna be honest, I actually just ran out of ideas after the first 5 Pokemons. I have no idea what to do with my 6. I did decide, because looking at his team, I knew that some of my Pokemons were just useless. Azumarill was just not gonna do anything. I should have said I did make 2 trades. I no longer have Claydol and Wartortle. I did replace them with God of War and Rizile. So them two were going to be useful. And actually, if I had Claydol, I think Claydol would have taken this slot. But I don't. And so I just decided to go with Jolteon. It was between Jolteon and Doublade, but I decided on Jolteon because I think at least with Jolteon I can at least utilize the weather and the terrain that my opponent's setting slash the terrains the weather that I am setting myself with sunny day. So I did decide to go with choice specs just for maximum damage. 220 speed, should outspeed his Durant. Um, 252, and just max investment into special attack with modest nature to maximize damage. I gave it Volt Switch as a way of swapping while making a move. But since none of his Pokemons are actually weak to electric moves, it's just there so I can switch. Shadow Ball, obviously, hit his Ghost weak Pokemons. And if I go with Max Phantasm, at least I can lower the defense of my opponents. Weather Ball, obviously, he does have a few Pokemon are weak to Ice. But mainly it's there for when Sunny Day's up, and I can deal with his Fire weak Pokemons. And Hyper Voice is it's just a move I just threw in there. Yeah, just to do spread damage. I chose that over Discharge because, well, Discharge hits my own team, and like I said, none of his Pokemons are weak to electric, so there's no point in having Discharge. Yeah, so obviously this team is not as fully formed as it could have been, but I do actually have a lot of confidence in those first 5 Pokemons that I just brought Jolteon for formality reasons, really. So yeah, so that is my team. Now the battle for this is should be released at the same time as this video, so I will leave the link to the battle in the description below, so I'll check you out there. Otherwise, if you're enjoying my breakdown of my team as for this WWA, please leave a like. If you want to follow my run through the WWA, you can subscribe. Otherwise, I release videos same time each week, so you can just follow that schedule. But until next week, I'll see you in the battle video. But until next week, if I don't see you then, I'll see you next week, which is yeah. So I can't remember the team I'm facing next week. I think it is the High Flying Gliscors. I think that's what the team is. Whatever the case, I'll see you guys next week. But until then, have a good day, and hopefully you are enjoying your time. Bye.